as little disruption as possible, given that I know there is a lot of disruption, particularly for traffic, and when the construction is on your road, there's certainly a lot of disruption. But we try to minimize that and try to inform you and involve you in each aspect of that. So I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and he has a slideshow, and he's going to go through that, and then we'll get into a discussion after that. So thanks for being here, and I hope you find it informative and you get your questions answered.
Thank you, Dan. Once again, I'm Paul Rosala, Senior Project Manager for the Barnstable Department of Public Works. Thank you for joining us tonight. The presentation will first start off with an overview of our comprehensive wastewater management plan. Then from there, I'll cover the Route 28 East project, the Strawberry Hill Vineyard Wind Duct Bank update, and then the Fall 22 construction overview. And then we'll proceed with questions from there. So I asked everybody to hold off on questions during the presentation, and we can open up a discussion afterward. So first off, I know everybody's more familiar with lately the construction, disturbances, the detours, but I want to do an overview of the comprehensive wastewater management plan, which is the main focus of all this work to improve our waterways. So the CWMP is a regulatory document which identifies the town's wastewater needs and establishes a recommended plan for resolving them. It serves as a town-wide, state-approved, science-based plan to protect our water resources, including coastal waters, freshwater ponds, and drinking water. It identifies sources of nitrogen pollution. It identifies water quality requirements with focus on health of water resources. It identifies town-wide nitrogen solutions and funding financing mechanisms. The implementation of the plan will successfully remove sufficient nitrogen to meet federal clean water standards, or TMDL's, total maximum daily loads. And it provides a benefit for all to protect and preserve our resources. So why do we need a CWMP? Barnstable's coastal estuaries and freshwater ponds are severely degraded to nutrients. Nitrogen pollution of coastal waters threatens our environment, property values, economy, and quality of life. And nitrogen pollution is documented by the Massachusetts Estuaries Project. So in addition to nitrogen needs, the plan also addresses impaired embayments, groundwater and pond water quality, failing expensive septic systems, economic development requirements, new flood zones, and regulatory requirements. And I'll briefly touch on the sources of nitrogen. So the pie chart on the left is total sources of nitrogen by percentage. So it's difficult to read, but the majority of that nitrogen source is from septic systems. There's also some from water surface bodies, storm water, fertilizers. But as far as controllable nitrogen sources, the septic tank accounts for 78% of the watershed nitrogen pollution. And the key thing to note here is that the Title V septic systems do not effectively remove nitrogens and nutrients. There are currently innovative alternative systems. You hear rumblings and talks about them, but they do not remove enough nutrients to meet our regulatory total maximum daily loads. So what are our costs of inaction? Federal Clean Water Act requires communities to meet water quality standards in coastal waters and some freshwater bodies. Barnstable must meet total maximum daily loads for nitrogen, and if we fail to act swiftly, we could further damage our water quality and water resources, and the town is at risk for court order and/or regulatory enforcement. So with the background of the CWMP covered, we have a phased and planned approach to our sewer projects. So this plan here shows a map of town and our plan for implementing sewer. So it's broken up into a 30-year plan with 3 phases. Each phase is 10 years. So phase 1 is the red, phase 2 is green, and yellow is phase 3. And far in the western portion of town are purple, pink, and blue represented as stages, which we're in the current process of planning of how we would serve nitrogen removal in those areas. So the key thing to note, the red is the first phase, which we're underway right now. They're branching out from water pollution control, and we're trying to collect that wastewater and bring it back to water pollution control to treat that effluent. The key takeaway here, it's a very large plan. We have over 189 miles of roadway included, almost 12,000 parcels, and upwards of 87 pump stations to be constructed and built with this plan. So as far as phase one, the red coloring I just showed you, this is a more zoomed in map of the red, and it's broken up into different color coding. So the two projects we're talking about tonight, Strawberry Hill Road, which is shown as the yellow line, which spans from Covels Beach up Craigville Beach Road, north up Strawberry Hill Road, passing Route 28, up Finney's Lane and terminating at 132, and the Route 20 East Sewer Expansion Project, which is the dark purple, which includes sewering on Finney's Lane, Route 28, and West Main Street. There also is a pressure pipe or force main component from a pump station at Route 28 and Finney's Lane that runs all the way from that pump station to the water pollution control facility along Route 28. Our plan also includes a detailed schedule. So in the red boxes I circled or blocked out Strawberry Hill Road project and the Route 20 East project. So you can see at this point, the red coloring in the map shows when these phases would go under construction. So right now, we're in the process of construction of Strawberry Hill. Route 20 East is starting, and then we also are planning future projects. So the yellow indicates when we're going to do the preliminary design survey for the projects. The blue would be the in-depth design, and then red would be when we implement construction. So as we move on here to 2031, we have a lot of work planned. And one thing to note about this plan and the map I showed prior, our CWMP is an adaptive plan. So as we have other issues in town come up, such as a wind farm or a duck bank project, we would adapt to address that area if we could see a benefit from it. So the first project I'm going to review tonight is the Route 20 Sewer Expansion Project. There's two contracts that were recently executed, both with Robert B. Auer. So we have a pump station bid, which is almost $8 million, and the sewer force main bid, which is $9 million, and some water improvement works for the Hannes Water Company at $1 million. So the first component of the project, the Finney's Lane pump station, is currently underway. That's located at Route 28 and Finney's Lane at the old abandoned gas station lot that many that have been here for a while are familiar with. We've proceeded to clear and grub the site, and we're ready to start construction at that location. The roadway construction for the project, which includes the gravity and force mains, is expected to commence this fall of 2022 after Labor Day. It includes 8,600 linear feet of gravity sewer main, 11,600 linear feet of sewer force main, 4,300 feet of water main replacement, with project completion anticipated for winter of 2023. So again, here's a more in-depth map with some color coding. So the yellow star is the Finney's Lane pump station location. Finney's Lane, indicated by green on the northern part of the photo, is sewer, and that sewer is particularly deep. It's over 19 feet, in places approaching 20 feet, which is a difficult construction method. We're dealing with standing groundwater at the base of the trench and significant dewatering of that trench to install the gravity pipe. There is work as identified in the red, which includes both gravity and pressure main in Route 28. And there are also gravity components on West Main Street and short sections of Route 28. The yellow line that spans from the star to the water pollution control facility is the force main for the pump station. And then the blue lines are water main improvements for Hyannis Water. So I want to go a little more in depth on the Finney's pump station. That pump station is located at 1456 Falmouth Road, former gas station site. DPW has been heavily involved with the design process for that station. One of our main goals was to have a building that matches the surrounding area. So our town architect and DPW staff were heavily involved, including public outreach on that meeting, to come up with a building that everybody was comfortable with. The building does include a standby generator. It's located behind the building in a sound attenuated enclosure. There is odor control provisions included with the pump station. It has driveway access off of Route 28, and that also consists of deep construction. So the base of the pump station will be 40 feet below grade. So it includes significant supportive excavation, driving sheeting, dewatering, excavation to set the foundation mud mat at 40 feet. There'll be, at times, noise, vibration, and heavy equipment working at that site. This is a site plan of that pump station. The box in the middle is the pump station footprint itself. The white space, I have a pointer here. Let's see if it works. This is the pump station itself. This is the driveway entrance, parking area. The rear of the site will be the emergency generator and odor control. And that will front right along Route 28. So with the pump station, just a general work sequence of what to expect over the next year when we construct this. We first need to secure the site with fencing, which we have done. We'll perform tree trimming and clearing and grubbing, which we have done. Then we're at the phase right now we're about to start, which would be driving sheet piles to stabilize the site for excavation of the foundation. We'll dewater, which will pull the existing water table down so we can safely perform that work. Once the site is excavated, we'll begin foundation concrete rebar work, then backfill around it, construct the building, then perform sewer main and force main installation, site work, and then the final paving and restoration. This is a rendering of what the building will look like. There's some minor changes with the final product. This awning here was removed, and there were some adjustments during the final design phase. But the building is a typical Cape Cod, cedar shake style building, designed to blend in with the surrounding neighborhood. Also note that final landscaping is not shown, but we plan to include that. So our goal at DPW is to build these pump stations, have them blend in with the surrounding environment, where someone would drive by and maybe notice the building, but maybe not quite sure what that building actually is. So as far as project challenges on this project, traffic management is going to be a major concern, which I will address later on. We're doing deep sewer main in Finney's Lane, which involves shutting the roadway down. To perform that sewer work, we need to excavate upwards of a 12-foot wide trench by a 20-foot deep trench. So it's not safe to have vehicles passing by frequently. There will be lane closures and detours. We'll have impacts to the middle school. There's public safety concerns, so we'll have police details working at the site along with traffic flaggers and traffic management personnel. We will maintain emergency access throughout the project. And we've also had to work with state highway, which Route 28 is a state highway, so the Massachusetts Department of Transportation has requirements on when we can perform the work based on time of year and time of day restrictions. So as far as project challenges, I touched upon the Barnstable Intermediate High School having impact with this project. That work was coordinated with Mass DOT to be performed during the summer months when school is out of session. We sequenced and planned that work to minimize disturbance at the school entrance and exits. The work start and end times will be coordinated with school personnel. And we recently completed similar work on West Main Street in winter of 2022, where DPW routinely meets with the public schools, and we also meet with the bus department on a weekly basis to go over our traffic management concerns and bus stop concerns that they have, and work to a solution that will work for both the schools and our construction project. So with 28 East, the gravity component, those that were included with the project to receive a sewer connection at this point should have received a notice via mailing from DPW. It's an 8-page packet which provides information about the connection process and some background on the project. So throughout the project, we'll be providing notices like this or press releases to provide updates on traffic, construction status. So look for these on e-news, social media, message boards, or an actual handout mailer or mailer to your home. Also, if you want updates and want to become part of our mailing list, you can go on water resources at town.barnstable.ma.us. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. As far as the sewer connection process goes, there's a form where we need some information from you. We've designed the sewer main to go along the roadway. We've selected the best sewer location in our minds that works for a design, but each homeowner has their own concerns. Maybe, for example, we chose to put the sewer service in an open grass strip on your yard, and down the road you plan on converting that into a patio, or you'd rather have it on the opposite side of your yard or in your driveway. So this form gives you a chance to communicate where you ideally see your service going. Note that it is subject for DPW review. Some of these locations, for example, if you're going to locate it on top of an existing water service or a gas main on your property, you wouldn't be able to install the sewer main in that area due to offset requirements. But it's a way for you to voice your location to us, and we can formally note it. And note that Town Council recently approved the sewer assessment ordinance establishing a maximum sewer assessment of $10,000 per equivalent residential unit for receiving sewer. And note that Mark Milne is here, our finance director, to answer any questions in particular about the financing component. So now moving on to the Strawberry Hill project. So far to date, 13,800 linear feet of gravity sewer has been installed. So essentially from Pine Street south, so along Craigville Beach Road, working northerly up Strawberry Hill, the sewer main is installed. We have some portions from 28 to Pine Street and Strawberry Hill which have some additional work this fall. And then after that, we're going to move north of 28, up Waquacket Lane, and up Finney's Lane to Route 132. So sewer work on Craigville Beach Road, as I mentioned, is complete. We have some targeted work through the summer, which includes Waquacket Lane and the pump station site at 528 Craigville Beach Road, which is right in this location. And also note that Vineyard Wind has completed their work on Craigville Beach Road, and they will be remobilizing after Labor Day and continue utility work on Strawberry Hill Road. So this magenta line here shows the length of duct bank that's been complete. So Vineyard Wind will start off around Chadwick Avenue, proceeding north. Another piece to note is that Vineyard Wind was mobilized at Covell's Beach. They will remobilize again after September 15th. Another update regarding final paving, which is anticipated for this fall, would be Craigville Beach Road and West Main Street would receive a full width overlay. Strawberry Hill Road is planned for spring of 2023, and Finney's Lane is planned for fall of 2024. And I know I've had some questions about Craigville Beach Road and Strawberry Hill Road, as far as the current construction site, how, when is this road going to be restored, when's it going to be repaved? We require a 90-day minimum settling period for the work. So as we approach that 90-day period, we can discuss the final full width overlay and restoration. And that work will be, under this project, will be performed by Vineyard Wind. This map here provides a schematic of the roadway. So what we did is we have a paved roadway. We cut out this section just to give some background on what's actually happening on our sewer projects. So for our sewer work, we're working within the town-owned right-of-way. So there's a limit to where the town right-of-way is and where private property begins. So it's on both sides of the roadway. As far as installation, typically you start with the deepest utility first. So in this case, gravity sewer. We also have force main sewer included with our projects. There's electrical duct bank, which is Vineyard Wind's representation, drainage, water, gas, and I also showed the footprint of a utility pole. So one question that we've had is why is the contractor coming through Craigville Beach Road or Strawberry Hill Road and performing one pipe installation only to come back months later and install another pipe? Or why can't the Vineyard Wind duct bank go first, or why can't they go all in one trench? Well, there's two different contracts. There's the Vineyard Wind contract for the duct bank and the town sewer project. But the key piece is how the utilities are managed, where if the duct bank goes in first, when we go to install the gravity sewer main, there's concerns for undermining that structure, causing an unsafe working environment. So these projects are sequenced based on utility corridor management. This shows ideally how things would be located as a final product. But in certain cases, in the duct bank location, we have drainage and water. So on Strawberry Hill Road, Vineyard Wind had to relocate the water out of the way to the opposite side of the road to allow for a corridor for the duct bank. Or same thing with drainage, for example. The drainage was in the way of this duct bank, they had to relocate it. So that's why you're seeing multiple construction crews come back again and again. And based on installation means and methods, our contractor, Vineyard Wind's contractor, likes to dedicate their crews to one process where when you're laying gravity sewer, you have to install it based on a particular slope or an invert. So they're focused on this particular installation. If they're installing all these other pieces at the same time, there's concerns with quality control and some of the installation methods as far as testing. So they typically will install one utility, then the next, and then the next, and then finally finish with roadway restoration. So as far as construction impacts in Strawberry Hill and for all of our sewer projects, I wanted to go over a couple slides of what to see and what to expect. So as I showed in the last slide, we have this private property line, public right-of-way line. The first step we need to do is perform tree pruning. So we need a corridor for the excavators to work. If we don't clear trees where needed, the top boom of the excavator could hit branches, causing a safety hazard for those working on the site, and also impact the health of the trees. So DPW has a town, or a tree warden working full-time for the town, licensed arborist, who we coordinate with to review areas that need clearing and trees that are cited for removal. And any tree that is cited for removal has a tree hearing where the public has a chance to weigh in on the removal of the tree. Followed after the tree clearing, we have heavy equipment, where this excavator is an example where the boom arm on this excavator can hit trees above it. So we need to make a corridor for that excavator to work. There's multiple trucks coming back and forth to catch spoils from the excavator bucket as we prepare for our excavation. This picture shows, all-out sewer installation where we have a wide trench, we have our shoring, our pipe at the bottom of the trench, and as they dig deeper in this trench, they would stack another shoring box on top of it, which is a little wider. So they use the whole width of the trench. At this time, they need, say, for example, dewatering equipment, which is the blue piping, trench box staged, prep area, where in many cases it's not feasible to open the whole roadway to single lane traffic. We need to shut down the roads and detour traffic around it. This photo shows a manhole being installed. So again, large excavation, we need large shoring around it to make for a safe installation. but again, not much room for vehicles to pass by. So unfortunately with sewer, we're looking at closing roads to do that work. This shows the Vineyard Wind duct bank and vault installation. So a duct bank includes, in this case, 8 6-inch PVC conduits encased in a controlled density fill, which is almost like a concrete that could be excavated with a thermal component above it. And the actual duct bank itself is encased in concrete. This shows a picture of a vault being installed in the roadway with a crane being utilized to install the vault. So again, extensive shoring. This installation required a roadway shutdown as well. At the end of each week, we perform trench paving, so we restore the site. And then finally, at the end, when we wrap up the project, we perform final paving and restoration. So with all that construction equipment in mind, this is an overview for what's planned for September through November. So the cyan square right here indicates the Finney's Lane pump station at the intersection of Finney's Lane and Route 28. This red strip and this red strip here indicate sewer main installation on Finney's Lane. The blue strip indicates water main installation on Finney's Lane. So with the sewer installations, we need to obviously close the roadway at a select location along this route and this route where we have to provide traffic management. So we will have detour plans that will be circulating so the residents and people passing through can navigate through the construction areas. We'll have posted signage and traffic flaggers to help control the traffic. One key thing to note is that even though the road is closed in this section, access will be open to the public, businesses, and emergency vehicles throughout. The other thing to note is that while we're working in the northern part of Finney's, the Vineyard Wind duct bank installation will be working northward up Strawberry Hill Road. So as they approach our construction work, we'll have further traffic management, or at one point they have to stop work altogether so they don't impact the sewer installation. Once again, I'm Paul Rizal, Senior Project Manager. I'm joined with Mark Milne. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us or email us. And for more information, you can visit the town's website that encompasses the CWMP and sewer projects at barnstablewaterresources.com.